श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रम् धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवम् यतीन्द्रप्रवणम् वन्दे रम्यजामातरम् मुनिम् लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भाम् नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् यो नित्यम् अच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणम् प्रपद्ये लोकाचार्याय गुरवे कृष्णपादस्य सूनवे संसारभोगिसन्दष्टजीवजीवातवे नमः।
श्रीशैलेशदयापात्रम् धीभक्त्यादिगुणार्णवम् यतीन्द्रप्रवणम् वन्दे रम्यजामातरम् मुनिम् लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भाम् नाथयामुनमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्मव्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। लोकाचार्याय गुरवे कृष्णपादस्य सूनवे संसारभोगिसन्दष्टजीवजीवातवे नमः। अपगतपदमानैरन्तिमोपायनिष्ठैः अधिगतपरमार्थैरर्थकामानपेक्षैः निखिलजनसुहृद्भिर्निर्जितक्रोधलोभैः वरवरमुनिभृत्यैरस्तु मे नित्ययोगः। We continue with the study of the Mumuksupadi. We are in the fifth Churnikaya Sutra. Unfortunately, I have not been able to prepare this slide. I hope you will bear with me. From next week onwards, I will try my best to take some time off for this purpose. So we are studying this sutra. சம்சாரிகள் தங்களையும் ஈஸ்வரனையும் மறந்து ஈஸ்வர கைங்கரியத்தையும் இழந்து இழந்தோம் என்கிற இழமும் இன்னிக்கே சம்சாரமாகிற பெருங்கடலிலே விழுந்து நோவுபட சர்வேஸ்வரன் தன் கிருபையாலே இவர்கள் தன்னை அறிந்து கரமரம் சேரும்படி தானே சிஷ்யனுமாய் ஆச்சாரியனுமாய் நின்று திருமந்திரத்தை வெளியிட்டருளினான். So the literal meaning, as I have explained earlier, is as follows. Samsarihal tangalayum Ishwaranayum marande. So samsarihal means those who are the bonded souls like all of us. They, having forgotten about their own souls as well as the Supreme Lord, that is Lord Narayana. They have forgotten in the sense they have no realization of the soul. Of course, now do I not know that I exist? Ramanujacharya says in his Sri Bhashyam, Nakopyevam pratyeti na ahamasmiti. Nobody will have any doubt as to whether I exist or not. Because this I refers to the individual soul that exists within this body. Though it is extensively mentioned in all the Rahasya Granthas that the main cause for bondage is Dehatma Abhimana, or our having a feeling that this body itself is a soul. It is very much true that all of us think that the body itself is the soul. Because we say, I am fat, I am thin, etc. But we also have an inkling. When we say my body, it means I is different from the body. We know that to a particular extent. Your fan வாங்க. Fan வாங்க. So we have an inkling within ourselves that there is a soul that is beyond this body. However, we have no realization of the pure soul that is dissociated from the body. Therefore, we don't have the Swaswarupa Jnana or Atma Swarupa Jnana, which is what is mentioned here as they have forgotten these bonded souls. They have forgotten themselves as well as the Supreme Lord. In the sense, we don't have, now a person might know, I believe in God, I go to the temple and worship Him. So how do you say that I don't know what God is? Who the Supreme Lord is? I believe my Guru used to tell narrate a very beautiful instance. So all of us go to the temple and we'll say, when we see the beautiful iconic form of the Lord, we say, oh, Lord is so beautiful, He has been decorated in such a wonderful manner, He is looking so resplendent and all those things. So we with a open mind and with a wholehearted outlook, we actually say we worship the Lord and we really feel happy. So after we come home and after about half an hour or 1 hour, suppose somebody asks you or any person for that matter, have you seen God? So a normal person who will say, even if you ask me, I will say no. So then if you just half an hour back, you were mentioning you went to the temple and you saw the Lord, He is so resplendent with all the garlands, with all the alankaras and all those things. Oh, that God is it? Okay, yes, I have seen. You will say like that. That means, though we believe in God and though we are favorably disposed towards the God, we have some amount of devotion, etc. In the heart of hearts, we are not ready to accept that the Archa iconic form is the Lord Himself. That is why we would say, oh no, how can I say I have not seen? You would say that. That means not that we don't have belief or something like that. Because the Archa form has to ultimately lead us to the vision of the Lord within ourselves. Because specifically the Shastras say, na mamsa chakshuhu abhivikshatetam. Though we consider the Archa form as the incarnation of God Himself, the Archa form has certain limitations. Therefore, ultimately what has to happen, the Archa form immediately, because when, for example, the Alvar called Tiruppan Alvar, he had never had the darshan of the Lord. But as soon as he came to have the darshan of Lord Ranganatha, immediately within himself he had a divine experience. He doesn't talk about Ranganatha, but he talks about some other form of Krishna who is sleeping on a banyan leaf. And then he says, Yen namudinai kanda kandal mattondinai kana. And he literally he gives up his life, which is not written in those terms, but he said he actually merged into the God or something like that has been written. So this has to lead to, that is why even the Alvar say, Nenjennum Mukkannel Kaanum, whether it is Srimad Bhagavatam or Sri Bhashyam or any other work for that matter, the Upanishads. The ultimate experience has to happen within us, not outside of the body. And not through these eyes, but from the eye through the inner eye it has to happen, which is very unequivocally or categorically stated. Therefore, Tangalayam Ishwaranayam Marande. So that we have forgotten about God in the sense. We have not had the vision of the Lord as it has to happen. Ishvara kainkaryattayam idande. So the kainkarya that is done using after one has the vision of the Supreme Lord is the real kainkarya. So that is why we differentiate between sadhya bhakti and sadhana bhakti. So the bhakti that is the cause of our attaining the knowledge of the Supreme Lord is called sadhana bhakti. And once we have the vision of the Supreme Lord, then actually the process of bhakti starts, which is known as sadhya bhakti. Therefore, it is said, Ishvara kainkaryattayumidante. Now I may say, no, I am wearing this thing, I do Thiruvaradhanam every day. I do this, I do that, and so many other things. Then how can Piladokacharya say, Ishvara kainkaryattayumidante? We have given up the servitude unto the Lord. The answer is, the real bhakti starts only after we have had the vision of the Supreme Lord. So, is the bhakti or is the kainkarya, servitude unto the Lord that is being done now, is it a waste? No, definitely it's not a waste. It should be done. But the real kainkarya, Ishvara kainkarya, starts after one has the vision of the Supreme Lord. So that cannot happen now. Therefore, Piladokacharya says, Ishvara kainkaryattayumidande. And then, Idandomengira idavuminnikke. And all of us bonded souls do not regret that we don't have an opportunity to serve the Lord in that manner. Have you ever thought, even for once, oh, every moment I am doing something else, I am losing the opportunity to be of some service to the Lord? We don't think like that. We are extremely happy doing all things other than Ishvara Kainkari. But of course, later, when we take the case of the Alvars or the Acharyas, there comes a state that whatever they do becomes Ishvara Kainkariya. But in this case, it's not so. That's why he says, Ishvara Kainkariyattayum idandomengira idavuminnikke. We don't have even a small amount of regret that we have missed an opportunity to be of service to the Lord. And therefore, what has happened? Samsaramahira perinkadalile vidundu novupada. So, we are all actually, we have literally fallen into a huge ocean called samsara. And novupada, we are continuously experiencing different types of miseries or unhappiness. Therefore, seeing that these people, these souls who are bonded, if I don't grace them, or if they do not become the recipients of my grace, then there is no chance that they can be redeemed. Therefore, Sarveshwarantam Kripayale, by his divine grace, Tane Shishyanumai Acharyanumai Tirumantrattai Velittarudinam, he actually Velittarudinam, which literally means he brought to light the Tirumantra, being he himself taking the form of both the Acharya and the Shishya. Here in the commentary, there is a detailed account of what are the different types of dukkha. I mentioned in the last class that dukkha is of three types. In our local parlance in Kannada and Tamil and many other languages, we use the word tapatraya in a very general sense. It is extensively used. Even people who do not have an inkling about what it really means, they say, oh, today I had to encounter a lot of tapatraya. But the real purport of the word tapatraya is that it is of three types of dukkhas or three types of miseries. which is actually very well enumerated in the Vishnu Purana. Very quickly, I will just go through because it's very interesting. Adhyatmiko vai dvividhaha shariro manasasthatha. We know that the dukkha is of three types, namely Adhyatmika dukkha, Adhidaivika dukkha, and Adhibhautika dukkha. And even I feel confused. What is Adhyatmika? What is Adhidayika? Adhyatmika means that which concerns the Atman or the soul. That much we understand. Adhibhautika is that which concerns the bhutas or the elements, namely the earth, water, air, fire, and also the ether. These are known as the Pancha Mahabhutas, as we all know. And Adhidaivika is that which occurs on account of the demigods or on account of some aspect that is beyond our control. Of course, all these are beyond our control, specifically with regard to the demigods. That is how it is generally explained. But in Vishnu Purana, they have very clearly explained, and that is mentioned here in the commentary, which says, Adhyatmiko vai dvividhaha shariro manasastatha. Shariro bahubhir bhedaihi vidyate shruyatanta saha. So, Adhyatmika dukkha is of two types, that is physical and mental. And physical is of many types. Shiroroga pratishyaya jvara shula bhagandharaihi gulmara shvayathu shvasa satyadyadibhirat satyadyaadibhihi anekatha तथा अक्षिरोग अतिसार कुष्ठ अंगामय संज्ञितैहि vidyate dehajastapah manasam shrotumarhasi. So all the different diseases have been enumerated here. Of course, they have different names in modern parlance in the allopathic system of medicine. So here they have mentioned it in a different way. I will not go into that. Then, which are the manasa dukkha's? That is mentioned as follows. Kama, Krodha, Bhayadvesha, Lobha, Moha, Vishadajaha, Shoka, Suya, Avamana, Irksha, Matsaryari, Mayastatha, Manasopi, Dvijashreshtaha, Tapo Bhavati Naikatha. This is very important in today's context because it has been found out in modern medicine also, from what I understand, that the mental issues play a very, very important role on our body and its wellness. So, the Ayurveda specifically says that when a particular rasa is enjoyed, this is a very important aspect that many people are not aware about. So we have 9 rasas in the Indian system of knowledge, namely Shrangara, Veera, Karuna, Adbhuta, Hasya, Bhayanakaha, Bhibhatsa, Raudraucha, Rasaha. There are 9 rasas. Shrangara is that concerns love. Love means love a person has for his beloved or her beloved. Then Veera Rasa, I think you can understand. I don't immediately recall the exact equivalents. Shringara, Veera, Karuna is compassion. Hasya is humor. Bhayanaka is horror. Bhibhatsa is that which puts us away. Bhibhatsa. Raudra is, I think there are slight differences. Raudra is also little bit nearer to horror, but it is well defined. And finally, the 9th rasa is Shanta rasa. So when you see a drama, for example, particular types of neurons are fired in the brain, which will actually act on your psyche and also bring you to a particular mood. For example, if you see somebody killing somebody, we find that many a times our heart rate increases. We ourselves can find the heartbeat increases. So in English, we say a chill ran down his spine or something like that. I think you are well aware of that expression. So, in the ancient system of Indian drama, the Natya Shastra, and also in the Shastra that where the dramas were being enacted, these techniques used to be used in such a way that there will be total equilibrium of the brain. So, how to very balancedly mention these things and ultimately make the person attain fulfillment. So it says, Natyam bhinna rucher janasya bahudha api ekam samaradhanam. So each person, one person loves horror, one person loves shantarasa, serenity, another person loves shringara very much, depending upon his age and all those things. But the Natya, that is the Bharatanatyam or the system of dance, as well as Nataka, the drama, both of these would cater to hues of all people, or people of all hues, and then ultimately take them to the state of Brahmananda. So it is said that rasa, it is said that Brahma Swada Sahodara. So when you see the different enactments of drama, I'm not going to that, that's a very big topic. It's like an ocean in itself. Because in Sanskrit drama, especially in the dramaturgy as the field of drama is called, specifically they have mentioned that certain things should never be shown on stage. That include one person killing another person and intimate scenes of two lovers, whether they are husband and wife or just they love each other, then eating and having physical fights and all these things like these are all prohibited because they create bad influences on the brain which will ultimately defeat the purpose of the drama itself. Therefore, but you have all these events and they will be mentioned in what is known as Vishkambhaka. That is, they will be narrated by one character to another character. Oh, it happened like this. So suppose the dialogue between Rama and Ravana on the battlefield is to be enacted. They will enact that in a very beautiful manner in which people realize the real nature of Rama, who is the Supreme Lord himself. But the actual killing of Ravana doesn't occur on stage. It will be mentioned in the next scene, before the next scene, in a scene that occurs in between where there is a dialogue. After this happened, Rama killed Ravana, they will say that. So it's a big topic. Why I am mentioning this is these things will actually satiate the instincts of the person in a very nice, in a proper manner and lead him to the ultimate, what is known as Brahma Swada Sahodara. It will lead him to a very exalted state of mind, which will ultimately take him to the Supreme Lord himself. That is why in all the dramas, in Sanskrit especially, or in Indian culture, either it is Rama or Krishna or Dushyanta or somebody who is a highly evolved person who is perfect in all respects. So most of the dramas you take, the hero is always the best. He is, of course, they have mentioned several types of heroes and all those things. That's as I said, it's a huge ocean in itself. But ultimately, it is said that this is a technique for a person to have the experience of the divine through the different rasas. And then you have Shed rasas as far as food is concerned. So a great guru very beautifully narrated this aspect. He said, for the body you have to have 9 rasas. For the mind you have to have 9 rasas. For the body you have to have Shed rasas. That is Madhura, Amla, Lavana, Katu, Kashaya, Tikta, Bheda. So food plays a very important role in the life of a devotee. And what type of sattvic food he has to have, how balanced it should be. Of course, all the Kshatrasas, that is sour, astringent, and all the other, I am not able to recall the exact translations of these 6. So the rasas play a very, very, very important role. And these rasas are very closely associated with the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, etc., which is mentioned very clearly by Lord Krishna in his Bhagavad Gita, where he says, when he mentions about Rajasahara, he says, yeah, Katvamla Lavana Tushna Tikshna Ruksha Vidahinaha Aharaha Rajasasyeshtaha Dukkha Shoka Amaya Pradaha. So the foods that people take, especially the non-sattvic food, many a times consisting of meat, consisting of onion, garlic, which is highly rajasic in nature, and several other foods that Indians most of the time today consume in the street corners and other places, in hotels, etc. They induce mood swings, as they are called in today's parlance, which will lead them to a lot of misery. So he says, aharaha rajasasya dukkha shoka amaya pradaha. They induce misery, they induce sadness, they induce different types of mental and physical illnesses, etc. So this is very important. So he says, the manasa rogas are kama, krodha, bhaya, dvesha, lobha, moha, vishadajaha, shoka, asuyava, manirksha, matsaryadi, mayastata. So it can come from discontentment, it can come from unhappiness, that is misery, it can come from envy, and so many other things. Manaso dvija, manasopi dvija shrestha, tapaso bhavati naik, tapo bhavati naikatha. Then pashu pakshi manushyadyaihi, pishacho raga rakshasaihi, sarisrapadyaischa nrinam, jayate cha adhibhautikaha. So the adhibhautika dukkha is that which occurs due to the affliction coming from pashu, pakshi, that is animals, pakshi, birds, manushyadyaihi, and other human beings, and pishacho uraga rakshasaihi. So as I mentioned, on what we call as the Deva Yonis are the demigods, like Pishachas, ghosts, Uragas and Rakshasas, and also Sarisrapadyehi, that occurs on account of the Sarisrapa refers to lizards, etc. So it might be snakes or other types of lizards, scorpion or things like that. Sarisrapadyeishcha vranam chayate adhibhautika. This is known as adhibhautika dukkha. And Shitoshna, Varsha, Ambu, Vaidyutadi samudbhavaha, Tapo dvijavarashrestha, Tathyate cha adhidaivikaha. So adhidaivika dukkha is, it might be things like cyclones, earthquakes, floods, and nowadays you have tsunamis, and from the lightning. So these are all known as adhidaivika dukkhas. So these are the 3 types of miseries that a human being is afflicted with. So the Supreme Lord takes great compassion towards that. He says, Sarveshwarantan kripayale. And I have explained this shloka. Evam samsriti chakrasthe brahmyamane swakarmabhi jive dukkha kule vishnoho kripa kapyupajayate. So it is very beautifully says. So there is no end for this cycle of births and deaths. And in each birth, we experience several types of these miseries. So when the Supreme Lord sees us, the bonded souls, he comes to have some compassion. So he says, Ivarhal tannai arinda karamaram sherumpadi. So it is mentioned, samsararnava magnanam vishayasakta chetasam vishnupodam vina nanyat kinchidasti parayanam. Very beautiful pramanas or shlokas are explained in this context. So for those who are fallen into the ocean of samsara, there is only one boat or one ship that can help them cross the ocean of this samsara, which is filled with different types of tapas or dukkha's. And that boat is none other than Lord Vishnu himself. So the Lord manifests himself in the form of a boat for us to climb onto it and then reach the other side of this ocean of misery. And then it says, Tane Shishyanumai Acharyanumai Ninni. So Naranarayananai Ulahattanar Shingamai Virittavan Engirapadiye Naranarayana Rupena Avatarit Narananadan Shishyanumai Narayananatan Acharyanumai Ninrengai. So he incarnated both as the Shishya and Acharya. The Naranarayana Upakhyana will be explained later also in this work itself. I will not go into the details now. And also it has been mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam in detail. So I will explain it in the subsequent class. So he actually incarnated both as the Shishya and Acharya. Why did he incarnate as the Shishya? That will be explained in the subsequent sutra. So I will not explain it now. And then he says, Tirumantrattai veliyittarulinaam endru sakala shastra sangrahamai anda shastra tatparyamana arthapanchakattayum suspashtamaha pratipadiyanirkum Tirumantrattai prakashippittarulinaam yengai. So it is, the literal meaning of this sutra is, he actually revealed the Tirumantram or the Ashtakshara Mahamantra to the entire mankind at large. So here a question is asked as to why is it mentioned that he revealed the Tirumantra? Why is the word revealed used in this context? So Swami Manavala Mamani very beautifully explains this. Just as the Vedas have not been authored by any person, even the Tirumantram has not been authored by any person. It's an eternal mantra that exists in creation from time immemorial, and it shall exist for the future to come. So there is no question of its coming into existence or losing its existence, etc. So that is why when we actually speak about the rishis, we call them as mantra drashtaraha rishaya. One who saw the mantra, or one to whom the mantra was revealed. So even this Tirumantra was revealed to Lord Narayana and he explained it to Nara. So the mantra is actually revealed to the Acharya and the revealed mantra is explained to the disciple. Therefore, it is specifically stated that these mantras have no authorship, just like the Vedas. So it is with this intention, Swami Pillilokacharya has used the word Veliyittarulina. He actually revealed it and propagated it to the world. So it's not like he has authored this mantra, because mantras actually, like the Vedas, cannot be authored. They are called as apaurushaya in Sanskrit language. That means they have not been authored by any person. So to explain it very briefly, when we talk about the Ramayana or Mahabharata or the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is specifically mentioned in the introduction of Ramayana that Brahma came to the ashram of Valmiki and said, "You shall hereafter author the Ramayana." So authoring means first the person has to think about it, then he has to actually prepare the text and then write it. Of course, writing is not an important portion of authoring because it might be written by a scribe also, as in the case of Mahabharata. So authoring means you have to think about it and give it a specific shape. Whereas when it is revealed to you, you don't think about it at all, how to write this, etc. The entire, we call it as, in Sanskrit, we call it as Anupurvi. Anupurvi means the specific arrangement of the letters. So every mantra is actually a combination of letters, but it's a unique combination that makes it a unique mantra. Therefore, it is not authored, but it is revealed. That is why, as I mentioned just now, it is mantra drashtaraha rishaya, which means the mantras were revealed. They saw the mantras rather than they wrote the mantras or they created the mantras. So that is what Pulladokacharya says here. And then he continues with the next Churnika, which says, Shishyanai nannade shishya nirikkumirippu Nattar ariyamayale attayarivikkekkaha. So, of course, we require an acharya to teach us something. And it is in the fitness of things that he is born as an acharya. Why is he incarnating as a shishya also? Why is he incarnating as a disciple also? Is the main question that may come to the mind of the listeners. So he gives the answer here. Anal acharyanaitte ஆச்சாரியனாய் நின்று வெளியிட்டருளி விடமையாதோ சிஷ்யனாய் நின்னது எதற்காகவென்று அருளி செய்கிறார் சிஷ்யனாய் என்று தொடங்கி. The literal meaning of this sutra is like this. சிஷ்யனாய் நின்னது சிஷ்ய நிற்கும் இறப்பு நாட்டார் அறியாமையாலே அத்தை அறிவிக்காக. The specific reason that he incarnated as the disciple also is that he wanted to show to the people at large how a shishya has to actually behave. So he behaved as the model shishya or model disciple, and then he learned the Tirumantra or Ashtakshara Mahamantra from his acharya, namely Narayana. Many a times we say in our day-to-day life, a person who knows how to follow shall know how to lead. I think you have heard about this saying. So only a person who knows how to follow can actually lead. Because if you don't know how to follow, then how will you lead? Because you cannot actually teach your followers what following is all about. So it's very important that you should know how to follow first, and then only you can become a leader. So becoming an acharya would be easier than becoming a shishya actually. So he says, Nattar ariyamayane atte arivikkekkaha. So he actually specifically states, since people at large would not know how a shishya has to behave, the Lord himself incarnated as a model shishya or model disciple and showed to the world how a shishya has to behave. And this is well explained by Manavala Mami in his commentary by quoting three important verses, very, very important verses, which are as follows. Astiko dharmashirascha Sheelavan Vaishnavashuchihi Gambhiraha Chaturodhiraha Shishyaityabhidhiyate Shariram Vasuvijnanam Vasah Karma Gunanasune Guruvartham Dharayedyastu Sashishyo Netarasmritaha. These are two very famous shlokas, very famous verses. And the third verse he directly quotes from Vedanta Deshika, which is as follows: Sadbuddhihi sadhu sevi samuchitata jaritaha tattvabodhabhilashi shushrushuhu tyaktamanaha pranipatanaparaha prashnakala pratikshaha shantodantaha anasuyuhu sharanamupagataha shastra vishwasashali शिष्यः प्राप्तः परीक्षां कृतविदभिमतं तत्त्वतः शिक्षणीयः. Extremely wonderful shloka which actually summarizes all the aspects that a shishya has to have if he has to be a model shishya, if he has to be called as a shishya. And before I go to the explanation, I would like to mention one important thing. Of late, since Sri Keshavadas Prabhu is specifically interested in this issue I am mentioning, that people glorify the differences or the differences of opinion between the Tannachari Sampradaya and the Vadagali Sampradaya. But specifically it is to be noted that Manavala Mamuni, though in this context he has not mentioned about the author, in several places he quotes Vedanta Deshika by saying Abhiyuktar Shunduvar. Our elders mention like this. Our elders mention as follows. And Vedanta Deshika, when he quotes Pillai Lokacharya, who was his contemporary, he also specifically mentions that this is the opinion of our contemporaries, with great respect, without even an iota of disrespect. So this is what Sri Vaishnavism is all about. Though there might be some minor differences of opinion with regard to certain things, that is not overclouded, that is actually overclouded by the mutual respect. Because if he does not have respect for a fellow Sri Vaishnava, how can he be called a Sri Vaishnava? So this is very important to be noted. So I will very quickly, actually this shloka has to be explained in probably 3 to 4 hours, but very quickly I will explain it. So these are the characteristics a Shishya is necessarily to be endowed with. So the first one is Sadbuddhi. He should have a very, very, very good intellect. So Durbuddhi should not be there. Then Sadhu Sevi. He should engage in the service of good people. But where to get good people, that is another big problem. That is, let it be. Then Samuchita Charitaha. He should be of a good character. He should not be of a loose character. So character means all the things. It does not refer necessarily to being, that is, having illicit relationships, etc. That is also included. So Samuchita Charitaha. Unless he has a good character, he cannot become a good Shishya. Then Tattva Bodhabhidashi. He should have a very, very deep and burning desire to know what the reality is. Not see or feel happy if he understands the surface of the matter. So he should be extremely interested in knowing the tattva or the reality. That means he should have a burning desire to actually have the vision of the Supreme Lord. Unless that is there, he cannot be called a proper Shishya. Then Shushrushuhu. He should have the capability to listen well. Many times when we go for an interview or something like that, especially in today's world of computers and all those things, when teamwork is very important, they ask, is he a good listener? So listening is a very important character that we all have to inculcate, because many times we feel when somebody is telling something, we feel we already know and we. So Shushrushuhu. That is one meaning. Another meaning is Shushrusha means he should be ready to serve the Acharya in any manner the Acharya wishes him to serve. Then Tyaktamanaha. He should have given up his ego to the maximum possible extent. So he should be an egoless person. Because unless he gives up his ego, he will not be able to become the grace of the Acharya. This is very important. Of course, all these things are very important. This is very, very important. Shushrushu Tyaktamana. And only if he is Tyaktamana, he gives up his ego, he will be able to Pranipatana Paraha. He should always be ready to prostrate before the Acharya. So today, many a times when I see young children, in the Indian context, I am mentioning, of course, that practice does not exist in Western culture. Many a times, children, when they are asked to prostrate before elders, they don't do that. But when we were brought up, when we were young, the first thing when an elderly person used to come to our house, they would say, please prostrate. So it is well found that if you are not ready to prostrate, that means your ego is highly boosted and you are not ready to accept the supremacy of another person. So in Nyaya Shastra, we actually analyze what is this namaskara or what is the prostration. It is mentioned, it is very beautifully analyzed in this manner, which says, Svavadhika Utkrishtatva Prakaraka Jnana Anukula Vyapara. It is mentioned in a technical jargon which is unique to Nyaya Shastra. I will not mention that. But it says when you bow to somebody, it means that you accept that he is superior to you. So accepting the superiority of another person is very, very, very important as far as the spiritual field is concerned. My guru used to say, so if you find many a times what happens, in our Sampradaya we have found, in our Guru Parampara we have found, many a times that the Shishya would excel the Acharya. So even in the Guru Parampara Prabhavam, a very beautiful instance is mentioned, where Periyanambi or Mahapurna, as he is known as in Sanskrit, when he once was seeing Ramanujacharya, his disciple, from close quarters, it is mentioned that he prostrated before Ramanujacharya. Then Ramanujacharya was taken aback. What is this? Guru is prostrating before me. So he said, you are actually throwing me to a very heinous hell or Naraka. Then Periyanambi said, no, I did not prostrate to you. I prostrated to my Acharya, Yamunacharya, whom I saw in you. So it is very important that a person gives up his ego and accepts others' superiority. And in our tradition, we see that many a times the Guru would accept the superiority of his Shishya. And also in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, a very beautiful concept is there, where it is mentioned that the 5 earlier generations of Ramanujacharya, the Guru generations, they attained fulfillment due to the Tirumudi Sambandham of Ramanujacharya. Because they were associated with the head of Ramanujacharya, which prostrated to their feet, they attained fulfillment. So the predecessor Acharyas attained fulfillment because they were associated with the relationship of the Tirumudi or the head of Ramanujacharya, who used to prostrate to them. And the subsequent generations, they attained fulfillment due to their having relationship with the divine feet of Ramanujacharya. So the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya is unique because such concepts do not exist in any other Sampradaya. Once, when my Guru, Sri Kotimangalam Varadacharya Swami, was questioned, he by some person who was actually making fun of this instance. And he said, oh, see your Sampradaya, you say A person attains fulfillment due to his shishya, because his shishya has prostrated to him. How is it possible to accept this? Then immediately my Acharya replied, do you accept that it is the son who gives liberation to the father? Because specifically the Shastras mention, Punnam no narakate prayate iti putra. Do you accept the Indian Shastras or not? Then they say, yes, yes, we accept it. If it is mentioned in the Shastras, how can we deny it? Similarly, though the son is much younger and he has to always prostrate to the father. But since a very evolved soul has been born as a son, and by that son, the father gets liberation. Similarly, Ramanujacharya was such an exalted Acharya that by his prostrating to his Acharya, that Acharya became liberated. Why is it not possible? This is the answer given by me. So, in the field of spirituality, it is very important that suppose a fellow devotee has become highly evolved, a fellow devotee who has newly come into the fold, becomes highly evolved over a period of time, then this person has to prostrate before him, even though he is much junior to him in other respects. Therefore, pranipatana paraha, he should always be ready to give up his ego and accept the superiority of his fellow devotees, of his acharya in all respects. Because many a times we see in the world that people may talk about his acharya. The acharya, he may know some scriptures and other things, but I know much more than what my acharya knows in several other aspects. If he feels like that, then he is unfit to be a shishya. So, and then prashna kala pratikshaha, he should wait for the opportune moment to ask the questions that he has with regard to the field of spirituality. So the questions should be asked at the right moment and in the right situation. This is very, very important because he has to see the state of the mind of the acharya. That is he ready to give the answer? So it is akin to the milking of a cow. So the cow cannot be milked at any time that a person wants milk. It should be milked in the right time, at the correct time, when it actually, there is a saying in Kannada, I don't know what to say in English. So after the calf is first made to partake of a little milk, then it should be tied, then the milk should be procured, and once again the calf has to take the milk. So that is how it is said. So it should be vatso chishta. It should be the leftover of the calf taking milk. Otherwise, the milk is not pure and it should not be procured. But today, even in India, even in rural areas where people are supposed to know the rules, just like in the West, they immediately separate the calf, which is a huge sin according to Indian Shastras. So, prashna kala pratikshaha and shantaha, dantaha, these are two very important things. Shanti, shamaha and damaha. Shantaha, he should always be serene. Dantaha, he should have total control over his inner and outer senses. These are all to be explained in great detail, but I will not go to them now. And anasuyu. This is a very, very important quality that a shishya has to inculcate, that he should not have any envy for his fellow students or his classmates or batchmates or whatever, fellow Shri Vaishnavas. Because many a times we see that even I have experienced, and many of us might have experienced, when in a class the guru praises another student, we feel envious. So asuya is a very, very dangerous quality, because my guru used to explain it as na suyate kinchidapi yatra sa asuya. Why is it called asuya? If a person has envy, nothing good will come to him. That is why it is called as asuya. It is the most dangerous bad quality a person can have. So at all costs it should be done away with. And this is especially true when we are students, when we have many fellow students. Because we feel when the guru praises another student to a great extent, we feel envious about him. We may feel that the guru is partial to that person. He is having some bias towards me, and therefore he is not praising me and he is facing the other person. So Shantaha Dantaha Anasuyuhu Sharanamupagataha, and he has to totally surrender to the guru. Unless he totally surrenders, nothing will happen once again. Nothing good will happen. So if he feels, of course, my guru has told me like that, but I feel this is a better path, then he cannot be called as a shishya. So he should have what we call as implicit obedience, that he is surrendered to the acharya, and whatever the acharya says, he should follow that without questioning him. And Shastra Vishwasashali, he should have total belief in the Shastras. Unless he has total belief, once again, nothing good will occur to him. He can never progress in the spiritual path. So somebody might, of course it is mentioned in the Shastras, who can do all these things, who can follow all these things. They have mentioned it in those days. Probably they were in their 70s or 80s and they have mentioned it. Can I follow it when I am 30 years old or 25 years old? They have mentioned it in different contexts. That is not variable. That should not be the attitude. If a person is not able to follow what is mentioned there, he should feel, oh, it is the result of my sins that I am unable to follow the Shastras. Or he should feel so bad about himself, oh, what is that sin that is causing me to actually not have total belief in the Shastras? That is how he should think, and gradually he should develop belief in the Shastras. So, Shishyaha Praptaha Pariksham, and then he should be ready to undergo any examination that the Acharya does with regard to him. So, if the Acharya tries to examine the Shishya, he should not feel bad. He should welcome it with open arms. In another context, it is also mentioned that the Shishya also should examine the Acharya. That's a different thing. And the Acharya should not feel bad if the Shishya examines him. That is the greatness of the Acharya. But the greatness of the Shishya is, he should not feel diffident or he should not feel bad if the Acharya examines him with regard to his character, with regard to his personality, with regard to his knowledge, or any other aspect of that. And then, Pariksham Kritavid Abhimatam Tattvataha Shikshaniya. And the Acharya has to thus examine the Shishya and see that all these qualities. So it is both the responsibility of the Acharya and Shishya. It is not the responsibility of any one person. That is why in the Vedas, it is specifically mentioned Sahana Vavatu, Sahano Bhunattu. So in the beginning of the class, both the Acharya and Shishya are supposed to recite this wonderful mantra. Sahano Avatu. Let the Supreme Lord protect both of us together. Sahano Bhunattu. Together we are embarking on this journey of knowledge. Saha Viryam Karavavahi. Sir, we are actually trying to achieve together something great. So it is concerning basically having the vision or the Paramatma Sakshatkara as it is mentioned. So that Paramatma Sakshatkara is the responsibility of both the Acharya and Shishya. So it's not like the Guru has taught it one day and it is left to the Shishya. So, Kritavid Abhimataha Tattvata Shikshaniya. Very beautiful verse that is mentioned by Vedanta Deshka in his Nyasa Tilaka or Nyasa Vimshati. which is very quoted with great honor by Manavana Mami. And two more slokas very quickly I will explain. Shariram vasu vijnanam vasah karma gunan asun guruvartham dharayedyastu sashishyaha na itarasmataha. So everything that belongs to him, in the sense Shariram, this body, Vasu, the property that he possesses, Vijnanam, his own knowledge, Vasaha, the clothes that he wears, Karma, all the activities that he performs, even the Prana, or the very life, Prana, Vasah, Karma, Gunanasun, Guruvartham Dharaye. All these things he should sustain only for the sake of the Guru. Only such a person can be called as a Shishya, and it says, Sa Shishyaha na itaraha. Otherwise, he cannot be called as a Shishya. That's what it says. And also it says, Astikaha dharmashilascha shilavane vaishnavashutihi gambhiraha chaturaha dhiraha shishya ityabhidhiyate. Astikaha, he should have belief in the Vedas, in the Supreme Lord. Dharmashilaha, he should engage in performing the duties that are given to him. Shilavan, good character, already explained. Vaishnavaha, Shuchihi. So Shuchihi is, he should be clean. This is once again very, very important, because this Shuchi itself is known as Achara. And that has to be explained in great detail. I will not go into that, because it says, Panchendriyasya dehasya buddhescha manasastatha dravya desha kriyanancha shuddhihi acharayishyate. So Shuddhihi or Shuchi or cleanliness of all these things is known as Achara, and Shishya has to possess all these things. Cleanliness of the body which has 5 sense organs, the buddhi, the intellect, the mind, body, and dravya desha kriyanancha. Purity of the things we use, purity of the place where we live, and purity of all the activities, actions we perform. This is one big book can be written on this, based on this shloka itself. Because what is purity in action? What is impurity in action? What is purity of the place where we stay? What is impurity? So this can be expanded into a big book actually. So much of information is condensed in this one shloka. So that is what is mentioned by the word Shuchihi. Gambhiraha, he should have a good countenance. Chaturaha, he should be intelligent. Dhiraha, he should have enough dhairya or strength. Such a person is known as a Shishya. So these are the qualities that a Shishya has to essentially have. And if he doesn't have, it has to be inculcated into him. Or he has to slowly try to inculcate all these qualities. And this was what was shown, because who else than the Supreme Lord himself to show how a Shishya has to behave, having all these qualities. So Shishyanai ninnade Shishya nirikkumirippu Nattar ariyamayare atte arivikkekaha. And it is not an ordinary thing to have all these qualities. It's a very great thing. Probably even if 2 or 3 among these qualities are there in a Shishya, it's a great thing nowadays. So, since ordinary people like us are unable to really understand what the nature of a Shishya has to be, the Supreme Lord himself incarnated as a Shishya or a disciple and showed it to the world. That's what this sutra says. So with these words, I conclude today's talk. Any questions, feedback, observations, discussions? Most welcome.
Swami, thank you for excellent class. Regarding Lord's compassion, why is there any explanation given by Acharyas as to if the compassion is so? First of all, why does the Lord have compassion? If there's a difficult question. But if the Lord has compassion, why does He allow us to suffer in samsara?
A very good question. So when the Lord Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita what is Daivi Sampat, it is specifically mentioned that Daya Bhuteshu. So compassion with regard to, it's not with regard to human beings or animals or anything. He says Bhuta essentially refers to a being. So Daya Bhuteshu means to compassion towards all beings is one of the main characteristics of Daivi Sampat. And when the good qualities of Lord Rama are mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana, one of the most important qualities is it says, Vyasaneshu Manushyanam Vrisham Bhavati Dukkhitaha. So when he saw a person who has who is undergoing or experiencing some kind of misery, immediately a sort of Dravi Bhava, as it is called in Sanskrit, he used to just melt and try to help them overcome the misery. So this compassion is one of the unique qualities of a good person. And therefore it is the Lord who has compassion towards all of us. But the earlier question is a very important question. If he has this compassion, then why does he actually make people suffer initially? That's a very, very important question, very deep question, which is answered in the Sri Bhashya, which, as you know, the classes are going on. This question has no very, very specific answer at this point, because specifically the question is raised, if the Supreme Lord has compassion for us, why does he create a universe which is full of misery? Does he do it for himself, or is he creating this entire universe and giving us what we know, what is called as Karana and Kalebara, that is the body and the sense organs. Mainly, these are given to the Lord, given by the Lord to the human beings, so that we all can meditate upon him, perform dhyana, etc., and then attain him. So Vedanta Deshika says specifically in the Daya Shataka, he says, Achid avishishtan jantu navalokya pralaye jata virvedaha karana kalebara yogam vitarasi prishashailanatha karunetam. So he personifies the quality of compassion in the Supreme Lord, and he personifies the quality to such an extent that she is made a consort of the Lord. So he says, Vrishashailanatha Karunetvam. So he addresses her as the compassion of the Lord, and he says, you are actually feeling bad, you are having remorse, rather, because he says, Pralaye Jata Nirveda. But one thing is very difficult to understand, that is what I am going to explain now as an answer to your question. So then it seems that the compassion of the Lord gave us the sense organs and also this body, so that we would worship him and attain moksha. But why did we separate from the Lord? That is a very big question. And why this creation occurred? That is the question, which is na prayodanavatvad. In the prayodanavatvad, this question is raised. And the answer given is lokavattu leela kaivanyam. Why did he do like that? What is the fun in giving trouble to somebody and then liberating him? So earlier we were all one with the Brahman. All the Jivatmas were one with the Brahman in such a way that the differentiation or the distinction between the Jivatmas and Paramatma did not occur. Then he made us separate. It says that Bahusyam Prajaya, he wanted to become many, and he manifested into the form of Jivatmas. Then all the Jivatmas they come to experience different types of sorrows. Then he gives compassion, and he showers his compassion on us, and then he tries to take them back to him. So what is this fun? What is the fun in doing this? The answer given is lokavattu leela kaivalyam. So he says it is the leela of the Supreme Lord. Then what is leela? the answer question is raised. The answer given is Swayam Prayojana Vyaparo. So it's an activity that has no other result, but the activity itself is the end. It is not a means to something else. And the example given is, we used to see in our when we were young, of course, now those types of games do not exist. When children used to see some sand, we also used to play that game. They will build some temple or house or something like that in that sand. So sand used to be just available when buildings used to be constructed. So we all used to, some 2-3 children will get together and they will build they will say this is a temple, this is a house, this is something. And when they are about to leave from that location, if it's 6:30 or 7, when twilight happens, they will just destroy all the things that they have done and they will go. So why did you build and why are you destroying? It's only a matter of krida or something like that, and it is said Swayam Prayojana Vyaparo. Or I used to mention, when we used to play cricket, when we were young, we used to play some games. So it's not some World Cup where you get some prize money of some $10 million and you become very famous or something. You play for the sake of happiness. So it is mentioned that the Supreme Lord also does as part of his Leela as his happiness. So my Acharya used to mention, it means that you cannot understand what it is. It's an enigmatic question for which no answer is there. And then he used to mention, so many a times we feel that when we see the Lord, we want to put the question to him, why did you put me into so much trouble and then why did you liberate? But when such a person has the vision of the Supreme Lord, he will forget all the doubts, all the questions that he has, and he will just start enjoying the beauty of the Supreme Lord or his greatness or whatever it is. So there is no, the specific bullet point answer is, there is no answer to this question. We cannot understand why it happens.
Well, very, very well answered, Swami. Thank you very much for this. I was waiting to hear this. It was very good. Swami,
what our Acharya has mentioned to us, and I am mentioning it.
No. I remember this very well. When Shrikes talked about this, I remember this very well. And he added one small point. Then when will we know the real secret of creation? Then he says that for big acharyas, alvars, they say, oh, did you create me to realize your greatness? Right? Once they realize God. So in other words, he mentioned this verse, Vidyate hridaya grantihi, chidyanti asya samshayaha, tasmin drishte paravare. So only when you realize all these doubts of creation or any doubts of such sort will be completely destroyed. So wait for realization. So your job is to do realization or do sadhana for it. That's all.
You're absolutely right. Thanks for the input. Keshavdas, any observations?
Swami, two things. I'm thinking it's very difficult to be a shishya.
Of course.
So I'm just wondering if it's possible for anybody these days. I mean, I'm speaking for myself here. If it's possible to actually come up to the standard of being a proper shishya, and if that ultimately matters to a prapana, if that ultimately matters, because of course we try, but we may fail to come up to this standard of being a proper shishya. So still we should have faith that God will save us, no? So I guess it's not really a question, it's just a comment. The other thing was I was looking at P.B. Anangacharya's Sarata Deepika on this, and he says that for the fifth Churnika, he says that the Lord gave the Tirumantra, which is the essence of Artha Panchika. So maybe you could just explain how the Tirumantra is the it may be a big topic, but
Of
is
course,
the essence of Artha Panchaka.
I have explained it in the beginning, and also it is going to be explained in great detail because what in the first Om itself, the Akara, Ukara, and Makara. So Akara refers to the Supreme Lord, which is going to be explained in great detail in the text itself. And Makara refers to Jivatma, and the U refers to the relationship between the Paramatma and the Jivatma. And then it is so you have three aspects here, that is the Jivatma and Paramatma and the relationship between them. And then further the details are explained, Namaha and Narayanaya. So what is Namaha? What is Narayanaya? So you have the Prapyasya Brahmano Rupam in A, and Praptusya Pratyekatmanaha, that is the nature of the Jivatma in Ma. Then Praptyupayam is going to come in Namaha. Then Padam Praptehe and Prapti Virodhi are going to come further. So he is going to say, Samsari Helaktya Virodhi, Shatrupida, Dihel Apekshitam Mannapada, Dihel Mumuksupadi Virodhi, Samsara Sambandham Apekshitam Paramapada Prapti, Muktarkum Nityakum Virodhi, Kainkaryahani, Apekshitam Kainkarya Vritti. So all these things he is going to mention in detail. So since it is going to be mentioned in the text itself, I have not mentioned that in detail here.
So thank you very much for all the quotes from Vedanta Deshika, Nyasa Tilakam, and I think Nyasa Vimsati is by Manavalaman Munigal, no?
No. Both are
by
from
Vedanta Deshika. Okay. And also the Dyasatikam. So you've given us a lot of homework here to go and look at those things and to.
It is quoted by Swami Manavala Mamani only in the commentary. So as I said, there was a lot of synergy between the acharyas, and no question of any person engaging in any type of derogatory terms or anything like that. So this is one aspect that needs to be stressed today.
Yeah, I agree. There was no Kalai bashing in those days.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah, everybody was on the same page.
Yes.
I agree.
So thank you very much. With the Mangala Shloka I will end. Ached Ramanujetyesha Chatura Chaturakshari Kamavastham Prapadyante Jantavo Hantamadrishaha Punyam Bhoja Vikasaya Papadvan Takshayaya Cha Shrimanavirabhut Bhumau Ramanuja Divakaraha Krita Virincha Dinirankusha Vibhutayaha Amam Japadam Bhoja Samashrena Shalinaha.